Uh, I don't know. Let's see.
What's been going
Let's
on
see.
in the news? Are you ready for NFL? Are you doing fantasy football? I just
No.
got my my draft for fantasy football starts this Sunday. Over this past weekend, I found out we got word that they put our names in envelopes, and then they put the numbers for the draft order in the second set of envelopes. So my boy did it as a whole IG live operation. He was streaming it. I'm like, what the? I didn't tune into it live, but he tagged me on it. So I checked it out. So basically he put our names in envelopes and scattered it. Then he put the names that would be the draft order. I ended up being the 10th name. Actually, no, the 5th name pulled out, but that didn't really matter. He then did the numbers. And then when the numbers came, I got pulled for 10. So 10 people in my league. I have the last pick, but then that means I have the first pick in the second round. So I go 10 and 1.
Nice. 1 through 10 and then 10 through 1. That makes sense. So you get that's good. Yeah. At least you're not 5.
Curious how I'm gonna go. Yeah. I'm curious how I'm gonna go, man. Are you a fantasy football guy? How do you usually pick? Have you ever played before?
Yes, I used to play a lot.
Figure out my plan this year. I need to do a perspective draft for myself.
Is it PPR?
I believe it is. PPR.
Points per reception.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I believe it is.
I would say you would want
125 buy-in. So there's a definite pot at the end of this year. If you take first through third, man. Yeah, it was 125 to buy in, bro. So
how many comics did you sell to come up with the $125?
Oh, that's easy money, man. I didn't spend any. That's just out the change.
You should have sold something.
Right?
I thought we talked about you.
I'm working on that. Actually, another thing over this weekend is Ebony and I we watched the new movie Vacation Friends that's out on Hulu. Turned that on and I pulled out a couple long boxes. And to start the process of selling these, I had a bunch of issues. Well, once I pulled out the long boxes, there's a bunch of stuff that isn't bagged and boarded. So we watched the movie Vacation Friends and started bagging and boarding to just prep for the eventual sale. And as we were bagging and boarding, I was separating into what are you talking about? Savage. What?
You have comic books that are not bagged and boarded?
Because again, your boy was a nerd and was just buying shit constantly. It would just go straight from, I buy it at the comic book shop. You have like your subscription. These are the titles I want. I would purchase those titles. And then I never had time to read them because again, what the fuck was I'm thinking about even buying them if I didn't even have a chance to read the shit? So it would go straight from the box into a long box that I already had long boxes. And there's thousands of books that I've purchased day of and never got around to reading, and it went straight into a box. And so those are the ones that need to be bagged and boarded. Yeah, brother, I had a problem. That's a problem when you have a subscription at a comic book store for them to set aside books for you, and then you buy them, but then you don't even read them. And I probably have years worth of books that I just collected.
So, are they in the comic book store bag? Like you just put them in the box in the bag?
No, I took them out of the bag and then they're set into the box. Yeah. Okay. But they're still in immaculate condition. They weren't touched, weren't even read. They just, they would just constantly get filled up until I'd have to buy another box and then fill it again with more comics that I didn't even read. I had a problem.
Did you look into like just consignment? Just literally cataloging your collection is just dropping a box off at the comic book store.
I don't trust them motherfuckers because we had this I need to relinquish.
We didn't.
I thought we did. Like I need to, but I can't trust certain people in a certain way. Like I don't know. I need to sell these bitches. Like I'm with you.
I think what you would need to do is take a long box, get an empty long box, and just every comic book you put in there, just take a picture of it, right? And that's your quick way of cataloging.
I got you.
And then when they sell it, they take the percentage off, but you just say that I want the receipt. I want a copy of the receipt for all of the things. And here it is. So therefore,
I'm tracking.
That's so military. I'm tracking. That's right.
No, but I'm with you. And now that, like I said, so that's what we did. We started this, bro. Again, thank you, Lloyd. We kicked this ball off rolling. We bagged and boarded. I feel we bagged and boarded enough for three boxes worth.
Wow.
So we actually went hardcore. Ebony was chugging away as I, and so was I. We were doing it together, watching a movie. We actually watched 2 movies. We watched Vacation Friends and The Donut King, which I would highly recommend if you haven't seen The Donut King.
Oh, that is amazing, because I always was curious, why is there so many donut shops in LA? And that guy's the reason.
Yes. So you've seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, that's all the answers I need to know.
Hell yeah, bro. He was taking care of our people, man. I love it. I love the
bag and boarded.
Concept. Yeah.
Bag and boarded, catalog and sorted.
Yep.
Towed and sewed. Just tow it there and just
that's the next process. I'm with you. We're starting. We started off the process, bro. We started it off.
I'm happy.
And there you go. I'm with you. And it's all because
where is your daughter in all of this? Is she bagging and boarding as well? Because this is her.
I should make her do manual labor and pay her for this. Nah, she was upstairs, probably watching manga or something, or Roblox. I don't know. She wasn't trying to hang out with her parents. I even kind of try to get her to come down by putting on an anime that she would like, but nah, she wasn't having it. She wasn't trying to hang out with her parents. We're not cool. I came home today, man. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. You're saying something.
Oh, it's like, just go get a hot dog on a stick uniform and just put that on a hanger, put it outside of her door and go, listen, it's either this or you come and bag and board for like 2 hours and you get paid the same amount of money.
Dude, let me tell you, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. And like today, I came home from work and I'm like, how was your day? I'm like, what's going on, Madison? She's nothing, just nothing. Stone cold in face, just staring at her phone, nothing. Went and talked to my wife. I'm like, yo, did something happen? Like, did someone with like her school? Because I know she's making friends now. She's back in school and, and all of that. And actually, I got to fill you in on the next part of that. But she was like, no, that's just her. That she's being a teenager. That's teenager.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah, that's life in my crazy household right now. Yeah. So, but she's happy. I just, I guess I don't understand teenagers, the ups and downs, talkative at one point and then not talkative.
I don't think you're supposed to. I think that's part of being a teenager is like, this is where we are right now. Forget everything you know.
I feel that.
This is where we are.
But I feel like I'm a different parent than my father and my mother were. Like,
But she's the same teenager.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, name, ask any parent. Just be like, hey, what was it like when your kid was, my daughter's age? And they'll be like, ooh, roller coaster, emotional, terrorist.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. I'm glad that you're getting everything sold. Or you're getting stuff ready to be sold.
Get ready to sold.
I would like to see your daughter take like an entrepreneurial version of it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm down. Like, come on now. And that you're going to get some profit off of this because it's paying for your college education and amongst other activities. Come on now. That. Like, get involved with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where she goes, hey, can you drop me off somewhere? And you'd be like, hey, how you paying for that? And they go, can I have some money? And be like, hey, yes, but I'm going to need to see you at like 9 a.m. on Saturday. Come to the basement.
Right? Damn, bro.
Very good. Very, very good. How's everything in outside your house? How are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm constantly busy with trying to blow up what we're doing here as NRW. A lot of cool stuff on the way. I really need to delegate because there's so much stuff and opportunities that I think we're missing out on as a team. So I need like another producer, editor to help me with these reins that I can trust. And Glenn's been trying to step up, but Glenn, you got a baby. You're the blur dad. You don't have that much time. So, and Rob can only do so much with his time. And they're both trying to step up and be proactive. And I appreciate that, brothers, but it is what it is though. You know what I'm saying? I think we need another person on the team. and to help us with everything that we're doing. So
I would love to do more editing for the team without.
I don't think editing's the thing. It's just the organizational aspects. You know what I'm saying? When we get these opportunities in to have somebody assist with the delegation and promotional aspects of it. So I think like another writer, reviewer, producer to help, oversee the data flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And sparse it out.
I think that's the problem with every business. It's scope and scale. You just get to the point where you go, oh, I have to figure out why am I here? And then delegate everything else that doesn't fall under that scope of why you're here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of with stand-up comedy. That's sort of the point where you're like, I need a booking agent, where I can't do it all. I miss things. And then you go, okay, I need someone to take care of my travel. I'm not there at the travel part, but you go, okay, how do I get someone to just take care of my travel and just figure that out? Scope and scale. And I think we are getting there. NRW is just at that point where we have so much, we're putting out so much, you're putting out so much content. We're putting out so much content.
Yeah.
And it just needs, I think, I don't know, there's gotta be some kid at her high school where it's like, hey, you want to do something, right?
Hey, and if this Bernard's becoming a fan, Bernard, if you're watching this one, I could have used an intern or some shit. Like, damn, like, yeah.
You like comics?
I can pay you in comics. Toys. Look at all these toys. It could be yours.
I might just move back. Can I just? I know you don't use the gym next door. Can I just sleep in your gym?
I haven't in a month or two, but I had been.
Your beard looks thin. It looks like you're losing weight in the beard.
Yeah, trimmed it. This guy.
But okay, let's get into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's get into it, man. What are we talking about today, man? Outside of this catching up, man. What is up with you? What is your updates, man? Like, I think during our NRW show, our regular weekly show, can I bring it up that COVID was around, but you didn't catch it?
So I'm COVID free, but I work a retail job, and somebody at my retail job caught COVID, and since I worked with them in the recent. I got quarantined. So I've been, my store has been shut down, and I'm just waiting to go back to work. So it allows me to write a little bit, get back onto that TikTok, and just kind of handle some things. I'm working with Edwin San Juan. I know you're familiar with him. Yeah.
My homie. Yes.
Yep. So we're working on some of his.
Back again, or had you been, it's been some gaps. Like, was this first time back in a while, or, how's things with that?
He is back at the V Theater. I got to open for him a couple times, which is great. He filmed an album, and I'm kind of helping him on the back end of that stuff. So kind of helping him with where to put the promos and how to go about strategizing the release of it, and kind of going with there. You just reach a point in your life, at least in comedy, where you just got to put stuff out, and no one knows you until you put something out. You're not anywhere until you put something out. And he finally made the jump. He goes, you know what? Let me just put this out. Netflix is not calling. Amazon's not calling. Let's just invest in me. Okay. So
I'd love to have him back on the Show Pal Show, man.
Absolutely. Look at your lineup, sir. Like, do you have time? Do you have time?
We can make the time. We can make the time, especially for October, man. We're dropping episodes every Monday and Friday because it's Phil Lamb History Month. We're showing love to the community. So yeah.
And I think that's don't quote me, but I think that's right around the time he wants to drop his album. And I don't want to get too much into his shit, but that's what we've been working on. So that might work a lot. So we could actually probably do. On my end, I'm just trying to stay sane, really. Working on keeping the household afloat as a man, trying to be responsible for the first time. I'm not going to lie. I know we don't like to talk about mental health as the Asian community and all this, but
it's important, man.
It's so important. Yeah. And I will say I'm kind of going crazy working a job. If you told me in my 20s that I was going to be 40 selling cell phones, I think I'd have to punch you in the face. So right now I'm trying my best to be responsible for one of the first times in my life and just kind of having a job with the intentions of buying a house and working on the family aspect of stuff. So it's depressing because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want to go out and have fun and be with my friends.
Same, brother. I'm with you on that. If we're talking again, you were asking about me, man. Why I keep myself busy is because I'm not where I want to be at. That's just gives me the hunger and why I'm so driven on other shit. Like I'm done with, my full day gig, and you know what that is. Not too many other people know, but I still dabble with that. But like all these goals, man, and I think I've built myself, and you as well, bro. We've been working at this craft for a very long time. That's what I think really made you and I connect so much. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're both driven hardcast and we put the time in, but we're just not where we're at where we want to be. But it's going to happen. And I still have that belief, but I'm with you. That mental side of it can fuck you up.
Yeah. It's like frustrating because I feel like we're just there. We're right there.
Right fucking there, dude.
And if I keep my nose to the wall and just keep on digging, it's fine. But when I take a step back and look, all I see is just this wall of like resistance.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating. And, with COVID, the Delta, I'm not even trying to book myself out too far in advance because I'm afraid that all the money that I'm going to go put in, like room, hotel, to travel, all of those things, it's like, hey, yeah, but now Milwaukee shut down and you can't go out there anymore. So you got to cancel all of that, all the flights, and you got to eat all of those costs.
Yeah.
And I'm just not financially wanting to gamble like that.
Yeah. I can understand.
So, but on the lighter note, it allows me time to do this. I hadn't been gone for a while. I hadn't been able to do any NRW stuff. So just being home and having a set schedule, just being able to like do this is way more valuable to me because it's in amongst with you guys. It's safer. It makes me feel better. It does. It really does make me feel much better. So thank you for that.
Oh, bro. No, man. We nothing but love, man. Just to collaborate with somebody that, dude, your energy, your vibe, and your hard charging is just your energy. Yeah, man. It helps motivate me. We're in the boat together, and you want to do it with friends, and I thank you for that. And we can cheer each other on and boost each other all along the way, man. So I'm down. Absolutely. But you know what? To just make it lighter, real quick. It's funny. I totally forgot, and we talk, now every other week. I totally forgot that what your day gig was, and the past week. Another side note that I haven't shared with you. I've been in the market for a fucking cell phone, and I've been doing some research. So we might need to have to talk offline because
S21 Ultra.
I'm looking for a new phone.
S21 Ultra. You're a Samsung guy. You're a Note guy. Yeah.
That's the one that's on the top of my list right now.
Especially if the cons start opening up again, which I think you've been to a couple Comic Cons lately.
Yeah. I had Awesome Con recently and Blurred Con. Yeah.
And that's one of our first ones, Awesome Con together. So so the S21 Ultra for you is what I recommend. They're not going to come out with the Note, and I think BTS filmed a music video with the S21 Ultra. So the camera is probably the best one you're going to find on a Samsung.
And that's the big thing for me. So, So S21 Ultra, you've confirmed it now. That's what was on the top of my list. I think that's the one I'm going to rock.
And you got a Note right now. Note 10?
Note, one of them notes. It's one of them, but sure. I have a Note. Yeah.
You should be able to trade that in for something worthwhile at your carrier. We won't get into which carrier it, but they usually have trade-in value and stuff like that. So I would recommend doing that.
All right. Cool. I'll talk with you offline about that.
Okay. So
let's get into it, brother.
I want to bring you to my childhood. I want to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite movies of all time. And it is John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Yes. Have you seen it, sir?
Yes, I recently caught up with it because we were wanting to do that for this latest episode of the podcast, man. Tuned in over the weekend as well to watch it in preparation. And I'm gonna throw it back to you because I have some feelings. I have some feelings.
And I think my feelings come and go with this movie. It's such a
I would say that
yeah, it's such an integral part of my childhood. Like, when you have VHSs, you only kind of watch the same 4 or 5 movies on repeat, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
Problematic when you look at it, and then when you dig deep, it's understandable, and then it comes and goes between my indifference to how problematic it could be, and the more you learn about it, and that's the thing I didn't understand. There's not a lot of YouTube. YouTube didn't exist in 1986 when the movie came out. And now I'm starting to do more research and like understanding John Carpenter's mindset on this. And I think it is underrated, undervalued, and underappreciated as a work of art and as parody. I really think it's parody to what's going on. So 1986, Big Trouble in Little China. IMDb says, and quote, a rough and tumble trucker helps rescue his friend's fiance from an ancient sorcerer in a supernatural battle beneath Chinatown. It stars Russell Peters. Oh, sorry, not Russell.
What? Russell Peters.
Sorry, different tab. Shout out to Russell Peters. I love you.
Yeah,
man.
shout out to Russell Peters, man.
Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, and John. Hold on, where is he? James Hong, the great James Hong.
Yes.
Victor Wong as Egg Shen. And there was another actor I wanted to mention. Carter Wong was very, very popular back then as well. So where were you when you first saw this movie? What year was it? And what were you going through in life?
I think, I don't know if I watched this in the theaters with my parents. My parents were very open with what they would let us watch. And I know my dad was a big Kurt Russell. Oh, actually, both parents were big Kurt Russell fans. I saw Escape from LA, Escape from New York, everything Kurt Russell in a sense. They were big Kurt Russell fans. So this was probably one I either watched in the theaters or at home. I can't recall which, but they were big fans of it. And I became a big fan of it. Yeah. I have very fond memories of this film, just in its representation, although not knowing the stereotypes back then, but I felt represented. It was people that look like me and people that I know kicking ass and taking names. It was a lot of fun. And I still feel that way, having recently seen it again. I fucking loved it. And to me, it was ahead of its time. And it was amazing to know that it was a white man who really, in John Carpenter, who was making fun of a white dude, because Kurt Russell, seeing this again, was being played for laughs. He didn't do shit. My man Dennis Dunn was kicking all the ass, and Kurt Russell, they're already down. I guess I don't need to do shit. He didn't do shit, but lucked out against Lopan at the very end. Spoiler alert.
And I think that's kind of the thing that you don't see, especially back then, was like how problem prone that Kurt Russell was. Like, he was the babbling, bumbling fool, but Hollywood had to position him as the lead, as the hero. But when you really watch it, you go, oh yeah, like you said, he didn't do really anything. He was there just so we could understand what was going on. They had to explain the story to someone. And he was the character who was like, wait, what's going on? It's a Chinese thing, bro. Just relax. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
And I like, so I was doing research, and the opening scene is a scene that I kind of forgot that happened, but it sets it up. And I kind of thought it was like really out of place. And such as a kid, I didn't realize he was at a lawyer's, and like this whole thing was like a story that he's telling. Egg Shen.
Oh yeah.
He's at a lawyer's office, and the lawyer's like, well, can you tell me what happened? And he's going. So the whole movie is him explaining it at the lawyer's office. Yeah. And it turns out that John Carpenter was forced to film that and put that at the beginning to position Kurt Russell as a hero, because in the dialogue, Egg Shen is like, Jack Burton is a hero. We're indebted to him. And it sets the tone as him being the hero. And I never liked the scene because I was like, let me just get to the action, but it just didn't feel right as a kid. And then when you learn like, oh no, he was forced to do that because the execs knew that the hero position was very blurred, and they needed a hero to put on the poster to use as a vehicle. And they go, how do we position this at the very beginning? And then that is why that scene exists.
Makes sense. I didn't know that. I didn't do this advanced work that you did, man. That's interesting to know. And yeah, it does seem very out of place now thinking about it. Cause like I said, I just watched it 2 days ago on Sunday and as of this recording, it's now, it's weird, but yeah.
And Kurt Russell coming out of Escape from New York, Escape from LA, and everything else, he's this macho man, but yet he plays comedy so well.
So good.
The dialogue was so on point, it
was a great tandem. I wish we could have got more of the two of them together.
I would have liked to have seen the Wang Chi, the actor, do more in his career. It's unfortunate that Dennis Dunn didn't do enough.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the lineup. Kurt Russell, young, beautiful Kim Cattrall, James Hong, Victor Wong. They
a lot of great actors in this.
Yeah, and Dennis Dunn being the hero got really nothing after this.
Wow. Yeah. I have IMDb open up now as well too. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But we all know why.
Do we?
We all know why.
Yeah. And that's why we're here.
I wanted to bring up real quick. Sure. I hope I don't take you out of your place in your lineup of thoughts on this. But one of the big things that I got reminded by watching this again that kind of just threw me off even then as a kid was Miao Yin, played by Suze Pai. That was Wang Chi's, who he was getting connected with in the film, who was going to be his wife. She looked very when I watched it, and as woke as I was too back then, I was like, why'd they get a white woman to play an Asian woman? Because she didn't look Asian at all. When I watched it again, the other day, I was like, hold up, let me pause. Let me look up who this person is. Apparently she is Asian. She was a Asian model, but she just is very Anglo in looks to me. Did you feel the same way? Do you recall that?
I remember my mom, who's full-blooded Chinese and very outspoken in her thoughts. Like, Chinese people don't have green eyes. She's like, if this girl has green eyes,
because that was like the whole thing in the film and shit. Like, what? I was just very surprised by that because she was coming, because you had the whole lead up. Yeah, I got my girl coming, and then when the girl came out, I'm like, like, yeah. I was like, why they get a white girl to play an Asian girl? That kind of pissed me off.
That is kind of par for course. I mean, think of Bloodsport. So, and this is kind of what we were talking about, taking either one of two things, either taking Chinese characters or Asian characters and whitewashing them for white actors, or keeping them Asian, but getting white actors to play basically yellow face. Did you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Bloodsport, Tong Po, the bad guy who's Asian, is actually a white actor?
No, hold up. You got me looking that shit up now.
Like, super awkward yellow face, like taped on the eyes. It's bad.
Oh, hell no. What? Okay, you're just blowing my mind right now.
Even when we're the bad guy, we can't be in the party. Like, we are not even invited when we're the bad guys.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
I was surprised though that to find out that she was white. Asian. She just. I'm curious if she's probably mixed.
Yeah. She's got to be. What as an adult now, and kind of on my Tong Po.
What was the kid? The actor's
name? Kickboxer. I'm sorry,
Kickboxer. Gotcha.
Kickboxer.
Yeah, like Bloodsport. Okay.
Boxer. All Jean-Claude Van Damme movies kind of merge.
Right. Yeah.
Tong Po.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Michael Kesey.
Or Michelle. Depending on
Michelle Kesey. Oh yeah.
depending on how you want to look at it. I don't know.
Wow.
He's from Morocco. I think he's like Dutch Moroccan. Something like that. But definitely not remotely close to being Thai.
Wow.
Yep. The more you know.
Right? Oh my gosh.
I will say, watching it again, I just watched it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And the beginning, when they introduce Egg Shen as a bus driver, he's talking about the gold rush and talking about how the Chinese people built San Francisco and looking to send money back to the mainland to bring their wives back. And that's what Wang Shi did. I thought that was very interesting because that is part of our history that I overlooked. San Francisco 49ers. That's us. They talk about the Continental Railroad. That's us. And all of the things that they talked about was like a real quick little blurb in our history that I learned about as an adult. And I think that was very nice. John Carpenter didn't need to do that, and he did it, and it was fucking amazing. Yeah.
I got to give him props. Like, seeing it again, I'm like, okay, I was surprised that this white director, number one, was making a fun of the white lead, and it was actually, Asians handling business. There's a lot of stereotypes in there, but it's our own people doing our own thing, in a way. It's a lot of cheese. So I remember fondly loving it, and I still think it's worthy, but then it is dated now after, seeing it again. A lot of cheese, but for what it is, it made me so inspired as a kid that, like, those were my Mortal Kombat characters right there.
Yep.
Rain, thunder, and lightning. Oh my God, they were they were our own superheroes, right? And Lo Pan, like, it was dope, man. Like, I can see why I fell in love with it as a kid. I don't think it holds up anymore. I might tune into it once in a blue moon here again, like I just did.
I mean, it's like watching Star Wars Episode 3, the New Hope. You sit there, you go like, oh, this is okay. Yeah. Episode 4. You're like, oh, okay. I mean,
I'd like to see it remade. In a way.
So John Carpenter originally wanted it to be a Western. Mm-hmm. And it to be like in San Francisco, circa 1850s or something.
Really?
And I would love, there goes my light. Hold on. I would love to see that as a vision. They were talking about having The Rock remake it. But
interesting. That would intrigue me. And also seeing this story done in a Western time period to maybe connect it more.
You can actually talk more about like the racial injustices and
that would be dope. I could see that.
And I would like it, John Carpenter, if you're listening, I would like to see it be the prequel. So not just like a remake, a reboot, but it actually planting the seeds for the 1986 version of it. That would be dope.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Yeah, I've always been a fan of John Carpenter, man. The Thing, to me, is one of my favorite sci-fi films, horror films. I definitely think that still holds up as a film. This one is good cheese, but it is cheese.
And as far as like stereotypes, what stuck out to you most? Like, what was the most I don't want to say offensive, but what was like the most cringeworthy portion of this movie for you? And why you think about that? I will say the fact that they just openly talk about a brothel where people like human trafficking, where they're just like, oh yeah, they brought him down to the White Tiger and sold for extra money. You're like,
I'm with you on that. That's kind of like, that's cringy. That's definitely cringy.
We're just like, so that there's human trafficking going on.
I think what bothered me, because again, I watched it as a kid and loved it, and my family really didn't talk about it like that. We all enjoyed it as a family, but then as I become more self-aware, and then leading outside of that, as much as I love Lo Pan, but just having other kids that weren't of color do Lo Pan-ish type stuff, and just all the other things that just all the other characters did, like, you're not, that aren't Asian, that, and even us even ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because that's not us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think any of the mythos or any of the storyline, I think John Carpenter made all of that up. I don't think any of that is an actual thing.
Oh, no. But just the way it was very stereotypical television Asians.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
That's what bothered me when I became more aware.
Right.
I think the biggest thing that I didn't like, even before I was aware, though, was like, again, why is this white woman coming out of the plane and is supposed to be an Asian woman? I already knew that out the break. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that was my biggest issue.
There's, I think one of the weirdest portions of it, generally, I mean, the CGI, or not even CGI, but the I do like the practical
effects, though. Like, some of the fight scenes were hilarious. You can tell how they set it up to make certain maneuvers look, but that's part of the cheese, but it was charming cheese.
Very, very like action hero 80s, 90s. Like, that's exactly what I thought was funny as an adult, just in a viewer standpoint. You sit there and go, like, so in the standoff at the funeral, and Jack Burton's driving down this alleyway, and then the bad guys come from behind him, and they're gonna fight with the guys in the yellow. It's like they open up with bullets. They just shoot into the crowd, and then everyone goes, "Hey, we should do this hand to hand." And I was like, "You guys got guns." What? Yeah. That seemed to be working fine.
It was, but like, you're gonna get shot into the car. Like, they would have got shot by just sitting in that car. As many shots were going off. Like, come on now.
Yeah. Why would I want to go into a fist fight? I've got guns. Like, I swear, like, the execs were like, "This is great and all, but we can't just do just martial arts. We need a gunfight somewhere in here." And they go, "Fuck, I guess we could just open with a gunfight and then put the guns away and just go hand to hand. That seems legit. Let's do that."
Let's do it old school style, man. Yeah.
And then the three elements come and they're like, "Hey, we should go back to guns because we're not going to kick their asses. Let's just try to shoot them."
What did you think of let's talk about the story. Can we talk a little bit about the story?
Absolutely.
The concept of finding two green-eyed women to make him come back or be younger. Well, because he's the old man, but he wants to be his younger self again.
Immortal.
That was the whole, okay.
He is, the youth was taken from him and he's immortal, but when you think of immortal, you think like, oh, he never ages. He's going to live forever and just going to be this age. But apparently he is whatever hundreds of years old and his body is falling apart. So he's like trying to be his immortal self again.
Got you. And so he does by marrying them. But then Lopan is instantly killed, luckily, by Kurt Russell. Spoilers. And green-eyed women. And then we have the floating eyeball creature. We also have the werewolf-looking creature. What the fuck? Just what did you think about that when you saw this again, man? I forgot about some of that, especially the eyeball creature. I remember the werewolfy kind of creature, which kind of leaves it as an opening for a part 2 that we never got at the very end.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? At the beginning, because they hadn't seen him. They're like, where's his whereabouts? You know, he's in grave danger. And then at the end, when he's in the back of the truck, like, that makes sense. The funny thing about growing up Chinese adjacent, they just say, like, parents just say like the most random, vague things, like, "Hey, don't do that. That's bad luck," or "Don't do that." Like, they don't explain anything, like folklore. They don't. So I feel like this whole movie where they don't really explain anything, but they kind of do, but not really. Go, yeah, that's believable. That's how my mom would explain that. Like, "Hey, if you're running, you got to get ghosts." What does that even mean? Like, and they explain the same thing. Like, when the bad guys come, you're like, that seems like a solid explanation. I'll buy that. That's what I got with like the storyline and like some of the monsters, because that's what Asian parents tell you. You know, with Filipinos, when you saw Trece, everyone was like, "Oh, that's what the aswang looked like." Okay, okay, I've been told about this my whole life, but I've never seen.
And what do you think? Do you think the Mortal Kombat people that made Mortal Kombat took away from Rain, Thunder, or Lightning, or whichever of the three, or all three, and combine it? Total ripoff, right?
Total ripoff.
I thought the same thing when Mortal Kombat dropped, dude.
I think it's documented. I think it's actually documented that
they paid an ode.
I'm actually upset that you gave us 3 of the same exact ninjas, but you could only give me one god of lightning. You couldn't give me all 3 elements. Let's just do all 3 elements.
Yeah.
Those guys were badass.
Yeah. That was one of the coolest parts of that, but we didn't get enough of it. And then dude that exploded, I think, which is the Carter Wong guy,
Thunder.
Which was Thunder. Him exploding, just some of that cheesiness was cool at the time, but just was so weird and not understandable. Like, why?
That's a shitty superpower. Like, you're just gonna blow up.
Yeah.
Hey, Thunder, we need your help. Like,
I'm just gonna commit suicide right now. Like,
if you guys don't want me in the group, just tell me. You don't have to send me to my death.
So yeah, just it was fun though, man, and it gave us something, I think, at that time. Because we really didn't have superheroes.
We did kind of. I mean, Shang-Chi, we had to wait how many years? 17 to 27 years, something crazy like that.
You know? Well, we had him back then, but to me, he was, you know what? I'll be honest. I'm going to say it right now on this podcast, because I think probably our next episode, we'll spotlight Shang-Chi for our next episode, right? Yes. But like, I was aware of Shang-Chi as a kid, who read comic books because he was out then, but he was a straight up Bruce Lee ripoff. And it's still, and it's known that he was a Bruce Lee ripoff. The Mandarin, who they've now updated, a Wen Wu, and all of that. But just, at that time, a lot of, it's shit across the board, all POC characters, Luke Cage, blaxploitation time period. Same thing with the Asian films and characters that we're getting. Oh, Bruce Lee successful? Let's do Shang-Chi. They made him up in just in every way. He was he debuted in Master of Kung Fu. Like it was all of that, dude. But
his superpowers is basically he's wicked good at martial arts, and then can he like multiply himself 1,000 times over? And
that's the latest power they gave him. I don't know. Well,
it's in the comics.
Yeah, it's in the comics. But it's a more recent update. Okay. He didn't always have that. He was just always a Bruce Lee, a powerful fighter, up until probably 10 years ago when they gave him superpowers now.
Like, what kind of, like, could you imagine, like, just being in a superhero, like, guild, like, hey, we're going to need Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi shows up like, hey, you got to put some shoes on or a shirt? Can you at least put on a shirt? And you're like, Have you seen your costume?
Yeah, dude. But so I didn't read it like that because it was like, oh, if I want Bruce Lee, I'll just watch a Bruce Lee movie. So Shang-Chi comics at that time didn't interest me because I was like, he was a blatant Bruce Lee ripoff.
Did they, I don't know if we talked about it on this podcast, but did they correct a lot of the wrongs in the movie?
Oh, hell yeah. And that's what makes me really love and appreciate the new Shang-Chi film.
Okay. I want to ask, and I don't know how to say this correctly, but I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Do you feel through their marketing and their promotion and all of that, do you feel like they kind of just didn't promote it the way that they could? Do you feel like they hamstrung it?
That's a good one.
Because I feel like I saw so many ads for Black Widow. And I think I've only seen very few ads, trailer ads for Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, yeah. That is a good question, but I've
oh, you're on embargo.
No, not at all. I've eliminated a lot of certain people that I follow on my various socials, and I think because of how they set, also how the internet and gods that are working at the powers of be that at Google. When you're doing so much internet research or you're talking about a specific topic, that's now what you'll always see, right? Like when you're on Facebook and all of a sudden you look up like a certain brand, and now all of a sudden you're getting nothing but those ads for that specific brand now, right?
Right.
So I think because of my research and because I've been such a fanboy over Shang-Chi, that all of that has been manipulated, and I feel I've seen a lot.
Okay.
So that's what I'm having difficulty. So I'm trying to think about, like, when I turn on the TV, have I been seeing a lot of Shang-Chi ads? Actually, yes. In the same fashion that I saw Black Widow ads.
Okay.
I don't know if I've heard enough radio ads, but I'm not listening to enough radio. Anymore.
I don't have live TV, so I can't really. Yeah. But
so that is a good question, though. I'm curious for those that aren't as plugged in as I am with Shang-Chi.
And the reason why I ask that is it's who is it? It wasn't Feige. Was it Feige who said the statement about it being an experiment, like not putting it out on Disney Plus and putting it out only on the theaters as an experiment, and it got taken out of context, but it kind of got me thinking.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kevin Feige, but then I hope it wasn't Kevin Feige because he's like our god at Marvel MCU. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know, and I don't know that either.
Okay, so there was a statement.
I heard that was said, but I don't know who made that statement.
And it was like a little tone deaf. I didn't jump on the bandwagon of outrage. It was tone deaf. But I understand what he was saying. Like, yeah, this is not the movie I would like you to experiment your algorithm with. But for the most part, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And let's put it this way. I haven't observed a lot of Shang-Chi ads, and I've looked him up, and I've looked up stuff. I've seen the trailer. I've done the thing, and I never looked up Black Widow. There was nothing in my search history that would allow me to think that, oh yeah, this guy, he wants to see Black Widow. I did, but so I was just curious, and people think, and then I go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, Marvel is like basically just using this as an experiment to see how much does the Asian community put money towards our projects without any promotion.
Yeah, I would assume actually very much that you're right, because I don't know who I was having this conversation with the other day, but it saddened me. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If they're not going to support our content, cool. But like all the merchandise, for example, like a lot of the toys merch that they put together for Shang-Chi, they've already actually a week or two ago, they're like on sale. The movie hasn't even dropped yet. And like you can go to Target and they've essentially pulled all of that merch and they have it like at least over half off, like just to get it out of the way and liquidate it and get it out of stock, because apparently it hasn't been selling.
Well, of course it hasn't been selling because
people aren't shopping, and the movie ain't out. People aren't shopping. We're living in a pandemic. There's a ton of factors. And so I was like, you know what? Well, then fuck it. Then that just gives me more room. That makes me able to get the merch that I want anyway. Because I bought like all the Shang-Chi figures, and we've just had a discussion the other day. I don't need any more goddamn figures, but I fucking love the movie. I'm buying all the fucking figures because I fucking love Shang-Chi. And you know what? I'm going to support my people regardless. And I bought the tickets. Even though I had already seen it, I'm seeing it this weekend because it's such an amazing movie. And I think once the world sees it, they'll see it even more. And if not, then fuck them. I don't need their love or appreciation. We as Asians, we have it for us. Fuck everybody else. We at least have this for us,
that's the way I've always felt, but I feel like that's the way that they expect us to be anyways.
Yeah.
I will say that I find it interesting that, Snake Eyes is out at the same time Shang-Chi's out. Yeah. And that's like kind of a first where you see two Asian leading men in two movies.
Let me add an Asian woman to the mix. We just had Protege drop like a week or two ago, and that's an excellent film with Maggie Q. And also check out my interview with Maggie Q on the channel.
Yes. But I do apologize. I think when we were talking about that, I called her a Bond girl. She's not a Bond girl. She was a Mission Impossible girl.
Oh, yeah. I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't a wrong franchise. But remember when Crazy Rich Asians came out and they're like, oh, it's our time. It's our time. Mm-hmm. And then how many years ago was that? And they still haven't.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about production. The book is already written. So it's not like, oh, we're waiting for the book to be written. Like, it did well. We knocked it out of the park.
I thought they didn't film. I thought they were getting ready to film, but they didn't film, did they? They're not even. I thought they locked the actors in, right, for the other two books. I thought.
I mean,
but we haven't seen it. They should have already been in production by now, right?
And Golden was like, hey, let me go fix my teeth and let me go star in this movie while you guys figure out everything. But that was like 3 years ago.
That is wow.
You go tell me a movie that does that well.
Yeah.
doesn't if any other movie did that well based on budget to gross, they're making the sequel the next day. They're like, hey, we're doing it, and it doesn't sit well with me. Just the
I'm with you, brother.
Stuff. So
yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought about it in a minute, but yeah, we should have already seen that by now.
Should already be out. I mean, how long do sequels take? A non-action. I mean, we get a new Star Wars every other year, right? You're gonna tell me like you can't come up with a rom-com? Hallmark puts out a rom-com like 6 a month. You're gonna tell me we can't come out with another sequel to a movie that the book's already written? I don't know. These are the things that I see.
Nah, I'm with you, but what's crazy then? But then we have this. We just got the protege. And I just put out an announcement to this morning on our NRW WordPress. Sci-Fi just announced a new series. God damn it, I'm gonna fuck up the name. That is being led by a Filipino female. Yeah, I'm like, wow, okay, we got a sci-fi show now. Let me pull up the name real quick. Jonna Morrison is the Filipino Canadian actress who leads it. It's called Astrid and Lily Save the World. Yeah, that's dropping. And then earlier this month, we had the announcement that Sci-Fi is dropping another show with a Filipino male lead, Jacob Batalon, that we know from Spider-Man. So shout out to Sci-Fi giving Filipinos some leading roles here of these two shows. So like, I feel like, and I've said this on Show Pal Show, and I know other Filipino directors that are working on some stuff. Like, I feel there's a renaissance happening, but you know, again, when you bring up, like you said, for the rest of our Asian brothers and sisters, man, like what's up with Crazy Rich Asians 2 and 3? And yeah, man, this there's wins and losses we're taking, but it's just kind of sad. There's not enough, and then. Yeah, there's we're still fighting the fight, man. It just reminds you we're still fighting the fight. I'll just say that. Yeah, the fight. We're making some win. We're getting some wins, but there's still a lot of.
And I feel like I grew up in the 90s, right? Yeah. You know, coming of age, mid to late 90s, and I remember the black cinema boom, The Wood, know, Menace, everything that Taye Diggs was in, Morris Chestnut, like all of those guys, right? Yeah, and it's like. People keep on like, well, you guys got a couple movies, like they keep on positioning like that is our golden age of cinema, of American cinema, like this is now, and go, yeah, but I mean, what happened to like The Well, The Wood, you know, The Best Man? There's like 4 versions of that, and I don't want to compare and contrast, but there's a golden age where it just felt good to be. And I remember that. And I remember being kind of like outside looking in. And I don't think we've hit that stride where it just feels good to be. I feel like it's still like we're still on the outside looking in. And you know, I'm
with you. I'm with you. But I just, as I was sitting here, as you were saying that, right when we started up, Blue Bayou, we have that with Justin Chon. We have Cowboy Bebop with John Cho. You know, that they just showed us images. So, and we got Eternals coming up soon with the young Gemma Chan from Crazy Rich Asians, and as well as not Benedict Wong, but
no, he's not.
Well, he's going to be in the Spider-Man stuff, and then he's going to. Yeah, there's just so many. We're starting. There, it's happening, but yeah, I think. We need to not put our foot off the gas pedal. We need to keep going and creating and collaborating and building, creating the opportunities,
telling our stories. I think that's like, it's great that we are part of the narrative. We are in the background, or you're not the background. We are part of the narrative. You know, we're there. That's great. And I think the next step is to telling more of our stories and
like our actual stories, not like. So yeah, we're in a Marvel franchise, we're in this and that and the third, but like actual Asian stories from our history, even as ugly as it can be. Like I want to know from a Filipino story standpoint, I want to know about the Manila Men, the first Filipinos that were here in the States. You know what I'm saying? The Manongs out there in Cali, and how they were starting the labor movement out there. You know, just there's so many freaking stories
the Delano walkout, the Delano walkout, the World War II veterans that
the World War II veterans, that right there, that has been heavy after having some recent guests on talking about that.
That's
come
tough.
On, man. Yeah,
that's tough. And if we have a rich history in just America alone, and I think that we're still seen as a monolith. And
the Asian American story, yours and I stories, growing up and having this culture inside us, but then have this culture. You know what I'm saying? And crossing in between the two, and man, there's so many stories within that.
I mean, I would love to see more on the gold rush. I would love to see more on the Japanese internment camps. I would love to see more of the Delano walkout. I would love to see more of, stuff that makes us who we are and puts us in the position that we're in. I would like to see that. I make a joke about the Transcontinental Railroad TV show. They made a TV show about the Transcontinental Railroad. And I was like, that shit is exciting because that is our shit. That is what we're known for. But Chinese people don't show up on Hell on Wheels until the 5th season. And and they go, and everyone's, like that.
When I focusing on to tune into that. I'm sorry, brother. I keep running off.
Go. When you first tuned into it,
when I first tuned into it, that's what I was expecting. And when I saw what I saw, I was like, "Fuck this show, dude!" Nah.
And of course, like, it's problematic because we don't show up until the 5th season, and we're the bad guys. And there's a Mulan storyline where the daughter is pretending to be a boy because she needs to work, and then the same woman falls in love with the main character, who's a Southern white racist slave owner. Like, okay, great. But what I find problematic is that they went out of their way to tell the story, and everyone was like, "Oh, we didn't even know Irish people were working on the railroad. Like, we just know that the Chinese people were." And then they justify being, the whole East Coast portion, that's Black and Irish people, but we're not even focusing on the West Coast portion of it. And you go, well, how do you even justify that? Like, how is that even, So it's like things like that makes me want to just grab somebody by the collar and go, look, it's bullshit. How can you not see this? Makes me very angry.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Hey, I know you got to get out of here. Anything on closing thoughts?
Big Trouble in Little China.
1986. John Carpenter. One of the best directors we've had, who gave us such classics beyond just this film, the thing that I mentioned earlier. I'm trying to remember some of his other Prince of Darkness. That was a scary ass film. He had a bunch of films, but I'm amazed that this white man gave us this film that actually, it's unexpected that a white man would, make fun of him, of white America, and also tell this very, again, there's the stereotypes, the problematic stuff, but then it did give us some nuggets of Asian history within that, and just allowed Asians to be themselves and be the heroes in this. That's what made me fall in love with it. I think that it shows it's a good visual of, this is the climate and the timeline of what was going on in 1986. Like, in 1986, we got this approved. This is what was expected. Somebody said, yes, let's do this. And I like how it's tongue in cheek. John Carpenter goes, I'm going to show you something. And he didn't have to. This wasn't like a money maker. This wasn't a blockbuster. This was like, I just want to do this. Let me just put this out there real quick. It's hilarious to me.
Yeah. And that's what I love about it. Because it allowed us to be the winner, and not
did.
Yeah. And we didn't have that. We still don't have that in a lot of different ways.
We kind of don't. But so I'm a big fan. Thank you very much for coming with me on this journey of my childhood.
Thank you. So we're going to do Shang-Chi next episode. Are you, by the time we record our next episode, will you be checking it out? Do you have tickets?
Are you? Please hold. Let's see. It's coming out on Friday.
Or actually Thursday.
Comes out on Thursday. I am... Let's put a pin in that. It's either going to be next week or the week after, but definitely we got to do it. I just don't know if I can get to the movie theater between the.
No worries. So then, what movie do we want to see then? So that was going to be my second question. If we're not doing Shang-Chi next episode,
you tell me.
I have a list that we put together that I'm pulling out right now to help with this. Pending films, we have Alive. We also have Living Hell, a Japanese chainsaw massacre. Peninsula, the sequel to Train to Busan, because we did do Train to Busan before we started doing Kuya and the Kid, but we never did Peninsula, which was the sequel. We also have A Tale of Two Sisters and I Saw the Devil. I'm down for any of those. I Saw the Devil was a masterful.
Let's watch a movie that neither one of us has seen. Have you seen any of those on the list? I have not seen any of those on the list.
A Tale of Two Sisters I haven't seen, and Living Hell I haven't seen.
Is that what you want to watch?
I could go with either of them. Let me do a quick search to see how we can see either of those films. So let me see where it's available at.
That's right.
Because that would be important.
Me and you have ethical differences. So yeah, you tell me, I'll find it.
I'll find this guy.
I'm saying listen, I know I fall short of the glory of God. I'm just saying I'm all about the convenience of it all. Okay.
This is why you're not an actor right now
anymore. This is what actually I think because I was an actor, this is why I do it. Like that is
okay. I'll give you that pass there. That's a good one. That's a good comeback. My
$7 to rent this movie is not going into the actor's pocket. So fuck you.
I don't know how we can see Living Hell. So let's go with A Tale of Two Sisters, because that's at least on A Tale of Two Sisters, yes. Because that I see is on Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, I see that. It's on Amazon Prime too for rental for $5. Yeah, I see that. That's
the good way. The good way to watch films.
That's where I'm gonna go.
At least that's where I will be going. So all right,
that's where I'm going. Hold on. Tale of Two Sisters on Amazon.
So there we go. It'll either be Shang-Chi or Tale of Two Sisters. I'm already well versed for Shang-Chi, and I'll be seeing it again, and I'll be doomed.
Are you going to dress up?
My Shang-Chi costume that I've ordered isn't here yet, so I will at least wear my Disney store version jacket. I have a Shang-Chi jacket from the Disney store that looks like the armor that Shang is wearing.
Also looks like Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, you did see that. Okay, you did see it. My Thriller looking, a lot of Thriller vibes off of that thing.
Yeah. You should wear one MMA glove just in honor of Michael Jackson.
Right. So yeah, man.
I got a mestizo skinned friend who looks like Michael Jackson.
There you go, brother.
Thank you very much, brother.
Salamat po.
Salamat po. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, man. Well, we gotta tell them how they can find us, right? Hold on.
I just want to make sure to see you next week.
Of course, always, man.
Sure. So in the meantime,
I need to get my Loy Lee fill every week, bro. So of course,
that's weird. So I'm blushing. Hello. So in the meantime, how can people find you?
All right, your boy Kuya P. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977 or at Temple Far East, one of those Twitter, one of those IG. Over on TikTok, the legend Kuya P. Over at the Nerds of Color, that's Nerds of Color on everything, as well as Show Pow Show, giving you that Filipinx content. And of course, over here with Loy at the NRW or at No Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. There you go.
Amen. See, go find him, go follow him, go love him as much as I do. And, you can find me too somewhere in between.
How can they find you, Loy?
On the internet. And I'm basically everywhere on the internet. Everywhere you are on the not dark web, that's where I am. You can find me Loy Lee Comedy across all of your social media websites, LOYLEE Comedy. All my stuff's there. If you want Asian King of Comedy, if you're looking, that's all. No big deal.
Go check out that comedy special,
Asian Privilege. That's out on YouTube. It's free.
Yeah.
If you got 25 minutes, you're waiting for the doctors or the DMV, put your headphones on, watch me talk to you specifically.
There you go.
Okay, guys. We'll see you next week. Kuya and the Kid. Kuya P, Loy Lee. Love you guys.
Bra, bra, bra. Love y'all.
Don't